That also lines up with my upper floor, but you need to kind of pay attention to which floor you're on. Now in this case, that wall is constant through the basement, up through the upstairs. So I can grab either one, but if you want to break them off in sequences, you can. Okay, so I'm just basically going to grab this one, and I'll drag it straight down. Let me just kind of show this. Okay, and this one, I'm going to drag it straight down. That's the edges of my house. Now I'm going to trim it a little bit here. And my basement's done. So here's my house. First, basement, first floor. Now we also have a garage sitting out here that's only on the upper floor. Okay, so let's bring that other wall down. We know this wall's common right here from the outside. We only see the outside of the wall, right? Okay, so we don't need to show wall widths or anything like that in these views. So I'm going to bring my garage down. And it's going to sit right here. And I can trim that up. Now the last thing we ought to do height-wise, let me grab my little drawing. And let me just we're going to throw in the ground here to help you realize this, because the garage is really kind of not shown correctly on that. Where does our garage sit? We talked about this way back in, well, another class. I remember that we talked about this factor. Yeah, your garage has got to sit on the level of the soil, right? The floor of it. Okay. And this will be the garage floor. Now, the foundation for the garage is going to match up, same as this. But the ground will be down here. Okay? And we're going to deal with finished floors. So we kind of want to see that. Where is the ground going to be on this house? Well, by code, okay, this dimension right here, from there to there, must be greater than 6 inches. You have to have 6 inches. The soil can't be within 6 inches of any wood member. Let me put it that way. Okay? So that's how we pick up that ground. Now, we haven't really talked about crawl spaces and foundations. We'll get to all that stuff later. We're just kind of roughing it in. So we can come in here based on this line, top of our garage wall, and find out where our soil is going to be. We can kind of estimate it. Nobody's really going to know until they build the house and grade it. Okay? But we can make some stabs right now. Okay? So with that said, we got to be 6 inches below the top of that first floor. Okay, so let's put some soil on this thing. I'll go back to the computer. So here's my house. This is my ceiling, right? This is the top of that garage wall. Soil's going to come in 6 inches below it. Okay. Now, it's clear down here on this level. Okay, but we've got the garage that we're dealing with. That's what we're talking about is up here. Okay. And we'll also see it on the first floor up here. Okay. So let's do that. Let's do an offset of 6. And I'm going to offset that basement ceiling down 6 inches. Now, I'm just going to switch the color on that so you can see it. And I'm just going to throw a line out on the side like that there. And let me move this one over. And on the garage, let's extend this outside one down. Okay, because it's going to go right there for the finished floor. excuse me. So you see those two lines I've got on the side that kind of slope off right here? That's going to represent my soil horizon. If you want to do it now, typically these are shown as very thick lines. So you might want to throw them on your border layer. Okay.
Do they have to be a certain length?
No, we'll just, depending on how we set up the view, we're just going to chop the soil off. You've now drawn your first building. Now, thing we got to look at here, do we have all of the walls? That's what we're drawing. Okay. So look up at your floor plans. Do we have all the edges of the wall? Okay, Declan, you're shaking your head. No, what are we missing?
The little thing by the master bedroom.
We got this. We see this from, this is orthographic, right? You're at infinity looking, so you're going to see this true size and shape. So if you've got this in your plan, we need to project it down. Okay, so I'll bring that edge down. And that is going to go, again, it will be on that finished, it'll go clear to the soil horizon. So you see it kind of like this. Right. If you don't see it from this view, you don't put it. Okay. Now the next thing we want to do is we want to throw in all of your doors or all of your windows, whatever you see. Now I don't have mine really drawn in these two views, but I'm going to kind of estimate them. Okay, so in the basement, your client asked for a window in this room, right? We need an ingress window, so it's going to be a window right here. And there's going to be a slider right here. And I'll just call this a 6-foot slider. So let's project, since there's only 2 in our bottom floor, and I would suggest you, again, stay logical, do all the top floor and then go to the bottom floor, or all the bottom, go to the top. So you don't miss something, right? So I'm going to go on the bottom, and I'll just pick spots for this. Okay, and we're going to bring those down. Okay. See how close I can come to my little black marks there. Nearest. Look at that, it's right there. Okay, and all I'm going to do is I'm just going to project that way down through my drawing. If I had that drawn in, I'm just snapping. I've got to go ahead and do an offset of 72 here. Okay, so there's the 2 sides of my door. And you would project that right from the view if you had that drawn in. And then I'm going to have a 5-foot window over here too, so let me just go ahead and I'll just kind of guess it. Using their snap, it's going to be about right there. I'm going to bring that down and we'll copy this over 60 inches. Okay. So I've got a door and a window there. And I brought that down. Y'all good on that so far? Okay. Now, what is the height of doors and windows? The standard height is 6 foot 8 inches. That's where we put almost all of them. There are times you will adjust that. If I'm doing a 9-foot wall, a lot of times I will bump that up 6 inches or even a foot. It just depends. For us, we're going to stick with 6 foot 8. Okay, that will be the top of all doors and windows. So I've got my finished floor right here, right? So I'm going to offset up 6 foot 8 for the top of it. Okay, so I come down here and do an offset, 6 foot 8. Bring that up. That's going to be the top. So I'm going to trim all these lines back to that guy. So here's the tops. Do doors go all the way to the floor?
No.
Actually, yes, they do.
The other person.
Yeah, they got a threshold, but again, we're gonna be printing this at a 1/4 inch to a foot, you're never gonna see a threshold. It rises about a 1/4 inch. A big one maybe goes a 1/2 inch. So my door, I can just trim off on the bottom, it's gonna be full height. My window, I can now set off the distance I want from my window. Now, I put 5 foot wide, I'm gonna say this is 3'6" high. So this is gonna be a 5036 window. So I'm just gonna take this top line and offset it down 3'6" or 42 inches. And then trim it up. Starting to take shape now? Starting to look like a house maybe? Good to go? Okay. All right, on the upstairs, you would do the exact same thing, project down your doors and windows. You got double French doors, right, in the center. You've got windows that we'll kind of figure out as we go through. But there's your finished floor. Where's the top of that door and windows sitting? 6'8". Okay. For now, let me just, so you can go ahead and do that. Now, you might want to spend a little bit of time in here because really this door is a slider, right? So I might come in here and do an offset of 1 and build my little frame on it. Okay. Like such, I draw a center line, throw the frame in. You might put a little trim around the outside, whatever you want. I'm going to say there's 4-inch trim on this character. Okay, so I'll throw it there, there, there. Then I'll do the extend. Now, doors and windows, again, these should not be 024 in line weight, right? But that looks a lot better than just one line. That's going to go, I'll put it on the 0 so you can see it. If it's a front door or something, if you can see a knob, you might have a knob on here. This is a glass slider. So I'm going to come back and hatch this with glass later or show my little glazing marks, however I display them. When you get to the upper floor, let me just point this out. I'm going to show you the elevation here that I kind of got done on this guy. What the heck did I got some stuff turned off here? I do. So here's in essence what we sketched in, right? The client kind of sent you as a sketch. Now, we're not going to do a post and beam ceiling in here. It's too expensive to do on the residential market with this guy's and gal's budget. So we're going to do a truss system. Now, don't worry about these windows that sit up above the top of the wall. We'll handle those when we do roofs, because they're actually going to sit inside the truss system. And where this interior vault, because it's, your client told you, hey, from the living room through the dining and kitchen, all that should be interior vault, right? That will be spec'd out with a scissor truss based on what the truss designer can do, which ultimately is your outside angle. Most of our interior vaults always are half of our exterior slope. So if I go an 812 here, this is probably going to be a 412. That's the ceiling. Obviously, I don't want to put a window up in here. It's up in the roof. Nobody's going to see it. Well, I won't see it from the outside. See the trusses and insulation. So don't worry about these. We'll get to them later. You should just kind of rough this in. Okay? Can you see those okay with that red? Let me just real quickly throw those. I'll throw those onto a different color so you can see them. And go ahead and do these two. Okay, so now you can maybe see them a little better. So that's gonna be pretty close to the way yours is gonna end up probably. Now, in essence, could I make this just one window? Yeah, you could, but it depends on what you do down here, because you want, remember, uniformity, people find that attractive. So that's my upper floor for this character. Now, you'll come up with these windows, well, we gotta get into shear walls and stuff we need structurally before we can tell how much glass we're gonna be here. So you can estimate that in. So if you can get a couple of these views done, do the wall section, project from it, do this view, maybe one more view, that will help us put this roof together when we're done, as we move into it on Tuesday. Now, just real quickly, okay, how do you go about doing a view such as this? In essence, let me just show you how I would set that up. I've got all the information right here. Okay. So if I wanted to do, let's say, the front of the house right here, which in this instance might be my front elevation, but I'll call it my left here. All I'm going to do is do a copy and take this stuff and copy it. And I like to put it right over here. Now I'm going to do a rotate so that I line up that character. So I'm going to put that one where I'm looking there. And then let me rotate the top one. Make sure I get it all here. And let me rotate that. And I'll do a move previous. And again, you want to make sure you line it up. Okay? So there's that line lines up with this line right here. So again, line it up. Okay, now you know the beauty of this? Now I've just set up a different look at it. Okay. When I go to draw it down below, I've got all my heights for everything, okay, except for the roof. So now again, if I'm doing the ceiling here, all I do is grab these and pull down. So I'll pull that and do a copy here, and I'll copy to my walls, edges. I'll do doors too here. Okay, so there they all are. Well, do I have all these heights right here? Okay, there's my bottom, right there. Let me run a trim. There's the bottom. Where's my second floor top? It's right here. Just drawn. Now I'm dealing with this view. I only see the basement over here, right? Okay, so I would then do my second, pull it down, because this is only over here, it's not over here. And you can draw these fairly quickly. Okay. You know what else is nice? Finish this view. What's the other side of the house going to look like? The mirror image of it, right? So I just mirror it. Then I just replace doors and windows, make sure my roofs are aligned, the structure's shown. So if I draw that left one, what am I going to do to my right one? I'm going to mirror it. You can draw these actually very quickly. These, when you get in, if you do this for a living, this would be maybe a half a day's drawing to draw all four of these views and have them tricked out, dimensioned, everything. We will make these look very nice. They're orthographic. They're meant for building, but this is the only place the client gets to see how the house looks. So we spend a lot of time doing some of these to make them look very nice. There's some great examples in the text. I'm going to pop open it. Let's see, do I got Brockway stuff in here? I don't. I might have one that's done. Let me open this file and see what's in here. Nah, I turned these into design files, so I've lost a lot of my stuff. Anyway, we'll get more into that later. What you should do right now is just kind of rough in a few of those views. Okay? Now, what we'll end up doing, if you got them up to the second floor, is we're going to start putting a roof on this while we're developing the plan view of the roof. And we use those two together. That's why I wanted to bring this up today. Meeting after, should we give everybody a 5-minute break or so? Whatever. Any questions for me before I give up the floor? Ask for help if you need it. All right, take a break. When you get back, we'll have a meeting.
Oh, I was going to tell you about it.